Praise be to the Most High, man. Praise be to the Most High. Yeah, man. I was just sitting here listening to the birds twerk. Want to put y'all on that real journey. You know I'ma get it to you. You know I'ma tell you about it. You know I gotta tell you about it. Cause when I tell you about it, it make it more strong. It even make my faith more strong. You know what I'm saying? So I want to just say that, man. Y'all hear them birds twerking? Y'all hear them? They praise the Most High. Yeah, they praise the Most High. Saying the heavens say the birds sing and saying praises to God. Come on, man. You ever thought about how he put it together, how he put this system together? You ever thought about that? So I want to tell y'all about the Prophet Muhammad, and how his life story. His life story is this, man. The Prophet was a baby born from Amanda and his father Abdul. And Abdul went to go stay with his father, go visit his father, but died. And when Amanda came around to take the Prophet and go visit his father, she didn't know that Abdul had died a couple seasons before. So Amanda ended up getting ill, peace be upon their souls. Amanda ended up getting ill, and when she got ill, she had told the servant to make sure that she give the Prophet to his grandfather. So they arranged everything, but before it was, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not quote. Before she ever went travel, she gave the Prophet. They used to give the babies to a babysitter, like a woman that'll take the baby for and wean the baby off themselves. And she did, and the lady and her family was poor, and the lady said that having the Prophet at her titty, she was full of milk, and the cow and the sheep that they had was full of milk. You know what I'm saying? So the Prophet brought blessings into that house. And then the Prophet, when he was a child, he went to go stay with his grandfather. His grandfather raised him and took him on a lot of places together. And Talib, and when the grandfather was dying, he asked Talib to watch over his grandson. And Talib took an oath and watched over the Prophet Muhammad, watched over my little Muhammad. And one day on an expedition, they was going to sell goods. The Prophet, Ali told the young Prophet Muhammad to watch over the camels, and they went to a Jewish guy house. And as they came to the house, they started talking, and the guy noticed that the clouds started forming around protecting the Prophet. And he said, well, who is this? And the clouds protect him, only form around him. And then Talib told the Jewish guy, the monk, that it was his nephew. And so the guy said, tell him to come, bring him on and come in. So when he brought the police, Talib told his nephew to come to him. The guy told young Muhammad to turn around and looked at his back and said, you're gonna have prophethood. Your back said that you're gonna have prophethood. So when Muhammad got older, peace be upon him, when he got older, he was 20 something, and he was selling goods, and it was a rich woman named Khadijah, who was 20 years older than him, that wanted somebody to sell her goods to triple her money. And she heard good reports about the Prophet, and the Prophet started selling her goods, and she had a slave watch him. So after he sold the goods and made the Prophet for, the slave reported everything to Khadijah, what the Prophet had did and his how he was handling himself. And Khadijah asked him to marry her. because all the wealthy Arabians wanted to marry Khadijah because she would have been a scorer in the peninsula, the Arabian Peninsula. So she ended up marrying the Prophet, and her and the Prophet had kids, and they had daughters. The Prophet had two sons, one from not from her, from another woman, and one from Khadijah, and both of them died at birth. One of the sons' name was Abraham, but the Prophet had a Talib, which was his uncle, had a son named Ali. And Ali became raised up in the house with the Prophet, like raised around the Prophet and Muhammad. And Muhammad had ended up marrying Khadijah and having girls, his kids, and he had his last daughter was Fatima, which is the princess of Islam, they could consider. And Fatima so had her and Ali end up getting married, and they had 4 kids, 2 boys and 2 girls, and the 2 boys were Hussein and Hussein. So when the prophet became the prophet, you know what I'm saying, he was already a prophet, but when he became one on board, he went to civil war with his country, and after he defeated them, he was taking Islam to Babylon, and he sent Babylon a message and said, I can't send you gifts, but I can send you the best thing that possibly come with life, and that is to submit to the will of Allah. And the Babylonian king had his son had assassinated him, so that problem that in his system didn't have no words, but it was a problem with the Roman Hercules, the Romans, the Byzantines, and which was Rome, Caesar's them. But Hercules, the prophet sent a message through his last converter, and they sent a message to Hercules. So Hercules had some questions to ask the prophet, to ask the guy about the prophet. He said, well, was this guy, is this prophet, is this Muhammad, was he a royal bloodline? And it said no. And God said no. He said, because if he was, it'll be a reason why he's going, he's trying to win over the countries. And then when she told him no, when he said no, he turned around and asked and said, so is his people picking up or they're falling down? He said he's picking them up. He said, if he was in front of me, I would wash his feet. But repeat that now. He said, if he was in front of me, I'd wash his feet. That's what Hercules said about the prophet. He said, but they won't allow me. You know what I'm saying? In other words, that the elders and the folks, his people won't allow him to wash his feet. You know what I'm saying? So the prophet ended up going to war with them also. When he went to war with them, he got stalemate. It was like a stalemate. They lost men and he lost men. They didn't attack, he didn't attack. So after that ordeal came, the prophet had gave the surahs. He had the companions used to sit around him and record everything he'll do, or say speech and everything. So they would record, and it was reported with the Shiites. I'm telling you, I'm telling you about the Sunnis and the Shiites. It was reported with the Shiites that on the prophet deathbed, that he asked them to bring him an ink and a pen so he can write down who he was trying to give the throne to. But according to the Shiites, also they said in a town called Ghanir, I can't pronounce the words right, but in this town, the prophet, supposed after his farewell speech at the last time of Ramadan, he said he won't think he was going to see another Ramadan, and told people to guard their faith. Well, it was supposed to stated that he had told Ali to come stand beside him and say, if you love Ali, you love me. And Ali was supposed to be the Khalifa. But however, as when the prophet died, Ali ended up washing the prophet's body and taking care of preparing the prophet for burial. And as he did that, he also was getting the surahs ready because the Prophet had a library where all the manuscripts wrote. And as he getting ready, it was supposedly stated that Abdul Bark had, which was the first Khalifa, that had turned around and the companions voted him in to be the Khalifa. So when they voted Abdul Bark in to be the Khalifa, Ali wasn't there. So Fatima, the Prophet had a piece of land, and Fatima went to go get the land, but Abdul Bark said that Fatima said that no, she couldn't get the land because the Prophet never cherished anything. He never took any land or anything. He always let the people come and get as much they can carry. So when that was transpired, Fatima didn't want to talk to Abdul Bark. So she stayed in the house, and she supposedly got sick and died 6 months later behind the Prophet. So when she died behind the Prophet, Ali ended up getting alliance to Abdul Bark. And when he gave alliance to Abdul Bark, Omar the Great, after Abdul Bark got assassinated, Omar the Great became the Caliph, and that's the one who pushed Islam all the way to Spain. And when he died, Othman, which was the Prophet's son-in-law, who married two of his daughters, he ended up being the Khalifa, the third Khalifa. And that's when the tyrants, it was supposedly stated that that's when the tyrants got in position. And then Othman got assassinated. Hussein and Hussein, which was the Prophet's grandkids, they was standing at the door when the assassin got in and killed Othman, and Ali came and cursed them out. So when Ali ended up becoming a Khalifa, he didn't want to take it because he was training the kids about the books that the Prophet left behind, the Quran, and teaching them all teaching them everything, teaching them the Sharia law, everything. You know what I'm saying? So when he did that, you had Bilal. Bilal was the slave that who got converted. Bilal was a slave that he's the one that called prayer. You know what I'm saying? Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. I feel, you know what I'm saying? He would call the prayer. He used to call him prayer. And he was a slave, and his master used to put rocks on top of him, hot rocks in the middle of the desert, and like torture them. So when Bilal came back to the city to mourn Fatima, he came in contact with Ali, and Ali became he was already the ordained imam. See, with the Shiites, it is no anybody can't be no imam. Only the Prophet descendants could be, and his descendants, all 12 of them was ordained imams, the ordained imams. You know what I'm saying? And the last one supposed to be Mahdi. He appeared but disappeared, and he's supposed to come before the Messiah Jesus. So the Prophet had, when Ali became Khalifa, they ended up assassinating him while he was making salat. And when they assassinated Ali, they turned around and his son Hussein was going to be the Khalifa, was going to be the next one. His wife, the tyrants who Othman had put in charge, which was his family members, they had ended up paying Hussein's wife to poison him, and she poisoned him because she thought she was going to be with somebody rich. And when she didn't, his brother was leaving, going to the country to help. Going to this city to help the people vote and let them know, vote for me because my brother's dead. But by him doing this, the tyrants, they came in and assassinated him, killed the whole carnival of people, but except one of his sisters and his son. And when they chopped off his head and put it on a stick and took it to the tyrant, and the tyrant, what he did was he put he was making fun of Hussein, the other brother that got killed. He was making fun of him for flicking at his lips, and the daughter said, "Don't you know them the same lips that the prophet would kiss?" And the guy ended up stopped touching. He feared him, but at that time, Hussein was dead, and his son. So when his son got back to the city and left, he started praising. He put all his energy onto the library that Ali Hussein he passed down and left to them, and he put all into it and learned it because he watched his family get killed. So he taught his son that. But every time that these ordained imams from the Prophet bloodline will come into it, they will assassinate him. They will kill him. You know what I'm saying? So Jafari's school of thoughts was the highest, was the most. That Jafar was a descendant of the Prophet too, but he was considered as the school of thoughts that excelled the most, had graduated more people. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you have the Shiites. And Sufism deal with the beginning of existence and the stars and the heavens on the heavens. You know what I'm saying? And then when you go dealing with Sunni, the Sunni is the way of the Prophet. You know what I'm saying? You will have 4 school of thoughts, and one of them are designed to, they pray like the Shiites with their arms down instead of their arms folded. You know, their arms would be completely to their side. And yeah, man, that thing's so beautiful, but it be hard for people to understand Islam because they see the bloodshed and the picture been painted different. But Islam is a beautiful, bro. I'm talking about it is a beautiful. It teach you, it enlighten you. Cause listen, in order for you to understand the Quran, bro, you gotta read the Bible. You gotta know the Bible. In order for you to understand the Quran, you have to know the Bible. And see, I'm gonna show you something with Lot and Abraham, quickly, from the Quran into the Bible. Remember when Lot's wife had said, "Don't look back." It wasn't that when they pulled up on Lot that she looked back and she turned to a pillar of salt. She wouldn't let go of the ways she had to miss them people. People think it was physically that she looked back. Nah, nigga, she wouldn't let go away. Them people wasn't. They just wasn't doing homosexual activities, bro. They was doing more than that. They was judging wrong. Lot was a judge in that city. The angel said that let us go into Times Square. Let us go into Times Square and watch the city. But Lot was like, no, won't y'all just come to my house? You know what I'm saying? Because they want to go in the middle of the city and see how these people act, and that's why I say we hear bad things about Sodom and Gomorrah. See, when Abraham was calling, when Abraham was asking God, like, well, what if it's 50 people righteous? Will you kill it? He was like, I'll spare him. What if it's 10 people righteous? Would you kill him? I'll spare him. Because he was talking about Lot. He was talking about his nephew. See, his nephew, I'm going to tell you about Lot attributes. Lot was a righteous person, but he just stumbled. He always stumbled in some fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying? You gonna see some niggas come through, boy. Gonna be some real good niggas, and guess what? They always just gonna be stumbling like, damn, nigga, you can't get right for shit, bro. And that's how Lot was. And Abraham used to go save Lot. Cause one time Abraham had went and then Lot had got kidnapped, and he had went and got Lot back, killed them guys that kidnapped him and got Lot back. And that's when Melchizedek had blessed Abraham. You know what I'm saying? And told him about the 10% offering. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you see Lot, when Abraham say, which way you want to go, our flock can't be with each other. He said, which one way you go? You go, if you want to go right, I go left. If you go left, I go right. See, Abraham knew that the Most High was with him. It didn't matter where I go at, man. You need to pick your way. So he couldn't go back and rescue Lot. So he begged God. He begged the Supreme to not kill Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot being there. So the angels had remembered, God had remembered what the angels, what Abraham said, and gave Lot a chance to lead. See what happened when he go up there in the mountains. His daughter them thinking that is no man's on earth, and they have sex with him, and that's how the Moabites come. But what I want to tell you is, you seen what happened? You seen what happened? They got up there and had sex with their father. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. See, when you let that child see certain things, it's gonna repeat it. See, they were fascinated with them people, and they seen them people do strange things, and guess what? They was doing them. They did it. Sometimes you can't let your seed see the wrong thing, because it can corrupt them. You know what I'm saying? What we consider as pain and they're hurting, they consider it as not pain. They look at it as a smile, like make them hard. You know what I'm saying? And they're hurting themselves. And that's the lesson that you're gonna get out a lot. But also is, I want y'all, man, just to stay prayed up, man, and get into y'all. Go holler at Pops, man. That's all you could do, dog. Holler at Pops, and he gonna give you the keys to the jury box. When he give you those keys to the jury box, you better remember me. I'm Amin Hussein Udin, Black Boy.